next few slides, we're going to be looking at auditor attributes and really what makes a good auditor from a tactical standpoint when you're going out and you're actually actively engaged doing the audit. So this is where we see some administrative struggles. So, and some soft skills here. So one, you want to be persistent, and that's one thing that your auditing checklist will help you do is staying on track, staying persistent. Don't get distracted. You want to be impartial. This one, you want to be a good note taker. And to me, I find that this is one of the hardest pieces of the auditing process. The hardest activities is pausing enough to take good notes, write down your objective evidence, because you feel like you might be wasting time by having a bit of a pause in between questions or being shown something. So being able to both take notes and then being an active listener at the same time, that's a pretty tough skill to master, but is something that I want you to really focus on when you're doing your audits, being able to capture that evidence as you go. You want to be credible, but you don't have to know everything. Don't feel like you need to know everything. You're not there to know everything. You're there to observe and to collect information. You want to be consistent from one place to the next, be professional, have good, great listening skills. If someone that you're speaking with, jumps in and talks at the same time as you do, pause and say, no, go ahead, you first, and really listen to what you're being told, and whenever you can. And you'll see this throughout the classes is show me. But great listening skills while also being a good note taker, those two together, those are tough. So don't worry about it if you don't have the swing of it right away. That's a skill you'll develop over time with practice. Be flexible. Yes, you do have to be persistent, and yes, you do want to be consistent, but at the same time, be aware of existing operations. And I think that's the next bullet. Yeah, considerate of existing operations. If someone's busy or somebody's in the middle of something, and the last thing you want to do is cause trouble with their work and creating issues or quality or safety issues because you are there. Note that just your presence will a lot of times cause stress. It's an unusual event, so be considerate. And yeah, again, practice makes perfect here. I think there was one more here that I missed. Yeah, good communication skills. So practice those communication skills. Don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry, I don't quite understand that. Can you state that again? Or repeat what you think you heard them say, just to get clarification and confirmation before you move on to the next stage. Again, going back to this SQDCME model, what aspect of the business is or may be affected by what you've found? And you're free to talk openly with the auditee about that. So wait, hold on just a second. Let me get this straight. So when the material handler leaves the product or leaves the material over in the warehouse, that creates more work for you, and isn't that inefficient, or wouldn't it be more efficient if they brought it line side, or something like that? You want to connect the dots to the business impact whenever you can. Then you see this item here, this little cartoon or caricature drawing, this comic. What you want to be able to do is get the auditee to step away and look at the process and realize that, hey, look, by virtue in this little character here, by virtue of you pushing this wall down, there isn't an issue right now, but down the road, further on in the processing of the order, that's where real troubles are found. So if you can connect those dots between what you're observing as an auditor and what the negative or positive impact could be, that's really going to help to drive the value of your auditing activity. We also have this thing that we call the so what test. I like to use this, and when we're doing audit scenarios, which you'll see in the other classes, if you get into the standards, we have a ton of different scenarios. When an auditor or a student in the auditing class presents a finding, I like to oftentimes push back and say, so what? Is the audit trail that you're about to go down or that you just went down, is that worth going down? At the end of that audit trail, so what? What if somebody forgot to write their name or sign at the bottom of a checklist? What's the worst thing that could happen there? Is that enough? Is that sufficient enough to warrant your time in going and doing the audit? What was I sent to investigate? So think about that, making sure that you're not going down the road of easy audit findings, but you're staying on track with the audit scope. Okay. Making sure that you stay in scope and you investigate those things that were in that original audit scope. Am I being distracted by silly findings? The silly findings a lot of times are in document control, documentation, because those are easy, they're simple, it's low-hanging fruit, but does that really produce a real bang for your buck in terms of something that you're going to report to the leadership? Will leadership say, so what, when I present this type of finding? So that's what I mean by the so what test. It's a way for you to just bounce off of this imaginary person, this guy down here at the bottom that's saying, who cares about the audit finding? Just keep this guy in your mind, because you want to be able to have some sort of filter in a test or a challenge question to help to give you the confidence that what you're finding, what you're presenting, the audit trail that you're going down is actually something worth reporting. So that's how we use the so what test. I hope that helps.